Well, here we are again. Welcome to Power Chat. It's Wednesday night here on the Gold Coast, and I'm looking forward to chatting to you this week. This is our third episode in Power Chat. For those who mightn't know me, I'm Diane Demetre. So if you're out there, please drop me a comment, and I know that you're there, and we can start with this week's Power Chat. I hope the last couple of weeks has been really fulfilling for you. On our first episode, we talked about decisions, designing our destiny. And last week we talked about our energetic focus, and that where our energy goes, where our focus goes, our energy flows, and results will surely follow. So I hope this week has been really powerful for you, and that you've been more conscious this week. Oh, here we go. We've got Rachel. Hi, Rachel. It's wonderful to have you here from Melbourne. It's tough down there at the moment, so it's great to have you join us. Thank you. And we have Amber. Hi, Amber. Good to have you here. So these last 2 weeks, I hope you've been more conscious of the decisions you're making, knowing that you have the choice of happiness and suffering, and that you're actually being more conscious. Oh, Tracy's here, Robin's here, hi, sorry. And that you're being more conscious of all those decisions and choices you're making. Because as we talked about last time, for the last couple of weeks, is everything is energy. As Einstein said, everything is energy. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. And so that's the premise that the master mindset method, which I teach, is based on, is that we're not just a random body, that we actually are far more than we've ever imagined ourselves to be, and that we have all of these wonderful resources at our disposal. So this week, oh yes, Rachel, looking forward to it, excellent. This week, I'm wanting to go that one step further. So decisions, and then we've looked at our focus, which is really important. And so what I've been doing is starting fairly broadly for you. And now this week, I want to drill a little bit deeper, and I want to look at responsibility, because we're caught in a bit of a trap at the moment. It's even more obvious in the world because of the coronavirus. What I'd like to say to you and share with you is a truth, and that is, we live a life of our own making. And you would go maybe, no, we don't. I didn't make the coronavirus. That's not my making. I'm not stuck in stage 4 restrictions. However, what I'm going to suggest to you is that the way you respond to the situation is your making. And that at any time, as I've said for the past 2 weeks, we have a choice. We can choose for happiness, or we can choose for suffering. And that's our responsibility. It's not our responsibility to lift the restrictions, or to do this or to do that. Sure, we have to live within the realms of where we are at this time. Hi, Juanita. But it's our responsibility as to how we respond. And so that's what I'd like to share with you tonight, is a definition of responsibility. Responsibility isn't taking on burdens and obligations and all of those other things for other people. Because remember, you can be the best you can be to the best of your ability, but you can't be someone else for them. And this is what responsibility is about. We are self-responsible at all times. We are responsible for the life we live, because at any time we have choice. We have free will choice. We can choose to respond, or we can choose to react. Hi, Karina. Lovely to have you here, darling. So this is what responsibility is all about. It's about the ability to respond. Now, I'm going to suggest to you, just for the ease of conversation, so that we're singing from the same song sheet as such, that we have what is called an ego. And I class the ego as that really negative, nasty little voice in your head. It's nearly like if they were a flatmate, you'd ask them to leave, because they're constantly running you down, and they're constantly telling you what's wrong with yourself and what you can't do. So that's our ego. Now, our ego is going to be trying its utmost, particularly at this time on the planet, to have us fall into reactions so that we become reactive to everything that's going on. We want to blame the government. We want to judge our next door neighbor because they've gone out without a mask. We want to shame people. We want to actually call them out and shame them for doing the wrong thing. And we think that we have the right to criticize and to have all of these reactive actions against people at this point in time. Governments, people, organizations. Look, it's everywhere. I don't need to explain it. And so that's the ego being reactive. Can I tell you that if you get caught in that energy, if you actually buy into that energy, you will find yourself feeling stressed, on edge. You'll actually feel your body tensing up and you'll start to get headaches. And all of a sudden, guess what? You'll be sick. And there we go. So if we're suffering pain, it's because we're choosing that on an unconscious level normally. Most people don't go out and say, yes, I want to suffer a lot of pain, or yes, I want to get sick. But it's always the effect of the cause, and the cause is us, because we are responsible for our lives. We are responsible for how we act, think, speak, and feel. All of those aspects of life we are responsible for. And you see, we're not at all encouraged to do that in our education system or in our families. We're constantly told to criticize somebody else and that it's somebody else's fault. That whatever's happening to us, they're to blame. They're to blame. And whilst we get stuck in that energy of blame and judgment, we can never, ever, ever manifest the life that we desire. And boy, is it easy to get caught in. It's at us all the time. The media is telling us to blame people. All of our social platforms are telling us to blame people. It's everywhere. However, we have free will choice. We can choose to either blame and judge and criticize, or we can say, no, I'm going to hold myself to a higher standard. And I'm going to be more. And back to my song sheet, I call being as a verb, not a noun, that place within us that guides us through the quagmire of all of this reaction to being responsible. Because each of us has what would be classed as an inner being. You might call it your intuition, or that feeling that comes over you when you know something is right, or your passion or your inspiration. That energy, that feeling comes from our inner being, from the truth of who we are. And so when we react, we come from the ego. And when we respond, when we're willing to say, I will respond here, we're coming from our being, because our being wants us to be happy. That's our natural state of being. Happiness is our natural state of being. It's not an altered state of being. Joy, passion, aliveness, all of these wonderful, wonderful feelings is our natural state of being. And being responsible, being able to respond to situations is our natural state of being. And at the moment, boy, is it challenging. And as Viktor Frankl said, when we can no longer change our circumstances or conditions, we are challenged to change ourselves. And that's what's happening on the planet at the moment. There's a huge shift of consciousness going on. We have all chosen to be here at this time. We have all chosen to incarnate at this time. Do you notice that there's an awful lot of people leaving? Do you notice that? Have you ever thought that it's not the coronavirus that's making them leave? It's their stubbornness, that they don't want to go through this change. I know that sounds a bit woo-woo, but if you come with me on this journey, you'll start to see a new perspective. And when you have this shift of perspective, you actually can let your fears fall away from you, because you're willing to adopt a mindset that delivers more. So if nothing else, wouldn't it be lovely to have a mindset where you can go through your day, even in stage 4 restrictions, and go, that's okay, I can still choose for happiness. You know, you might say I'm wearing rose-colored glasses and I'm a bit of a Pollyanna. Hey, I'll wear that badge happily. That's good. My bumper sticker can say I'm an eternal optimist. Why? Because if nothing else, it means that every day I get to live a life of joy and happiness and power and commitment and passion. And I will stay that course. Why? Because it serves me, and then I can serve other people more effectively. And that's what a master mindset is about. And that's what being responsible is about, and being decisive and being focused energetically on the direction you want to go. And don't let the details of your life slow you down. As I said last week, I shared that wonderful affirmation that everything works out for me. Everything always works out for me. If we have that thought running through our head, if we have that energy infilling us every day, everything always works out for me. Imagine the difference your day will be. And then that has a knock-on effect. Imagine the difference in your reality, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. If you look at anybody who's actually living a successful and fulfilled life, a life of happiness and health and wealth and joy and success, I can guarantee you that they are infilled with that energy, that passion, that optimism, and that willingness to be responsible for their own lives. And that's why only a few people will excel in life, because they are willing to be responsible for their life. They're willing to be responsible for their reality and their results. The rest of us, the rest of the population, normally has an entitlement attitude. The government owes me. My parents owe me. My boss owes me. Somebody always owes them. And that attitude will never create anything but poor results. Disease, stress, anxiety, because they're always looking outside of themselves and they're not willing to take responsibility for their life or their results or their reality. And that's what being responsible is all about. It's about the ability to respond, to actually look at what's going on and say, I have a choice here, I still have a choice. Even though I'm in stage 4 restrictions or I'm locked down and I can't see my parents and I can't, don't like that word, do we? What is it that you can do? How is it that you can respond differently that empowers you and empowers the people that you love? Because we're all energetic transmitters. We're all energetic transmitters. And the more energy, the more positive, responsible, loving, kind, gentle, passionate, optimistic energy we can emanate, we can resonate, that does have a knock-on effect with other people. Whether we come in contact with them or not, it has a knock-on effect. And that's what the world needs at the moment, and that's what we're going through, is a huge shift in consciousness. And so we're seeing nearly a division. It's nearly like that old Bible story about, the parting of the Red Sea. It's nearly a bit like that at the moment. The people are going to the right, people are going to the left. And so what I'm saying to you is hold course. Ask yourself 3 questions. Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? And what do you want to have? Because when you get the answers to that, you can then go, right, there's my course. I'm setting my course and I'm moving forward, and I'm going to be responsible for everything that happens in my life. I have a choice to respond to it. So before I give you a few other points, is there anybody, oh, thanks, Karina. Yes, and stars going on there. Is there anybody who has a question on that? Because I know it can be quite challenging at times when you're told that everything that is going on in your life is of your making. because people do want to look outside of themselves. No, it's the government, it's this, it's my boss, it's my partner. Oh, it's so easy to fall into it. And you see, that's that reaction of the ego, the guilt, the blame, the criticism, the shame. And you see, then we turn it on ourselves. Then we blame ourselves if things aren't going well. See, that's the next thing that happens. Then you start to go, damn it, it's all my fault. I should have known better. But you see, this is the whole point. All we can do is the best we can do at the time with the information we have, and by staying conscious that there is another choice, that there is another perspective, and to be curious and to go, what is that perspective? How can I respond differently here? Is there a better way? I say that in business as a quality manager and a general manager. I often say to my staff, always ask yourself, is there not a better way? And if we just stopped and asked ourselves every day, is there not a better way for me to respond? Is there not a better way for me to live? Is there not a better way for me to think? We can put that little question in front of so many things in our lives, and it will make such a difference. Yes, as Tracy said, stay curious, be willing. Have you noticed at the moment that everybody has an opinion, and that's okay? That's fine. But when did we stop respecting each other's opinions? When did we all get huffy and go, well, I don't agree with you. You can go. I'm going to unfriend you now because you're not part of my little group. When did we ever stop respecting each other for a difference of opinion? When did we lose civility? When did we lose the ability to have a sensible, common sense conversation? We lost that the moment we fell deeper and deeper into the ego and we started blaming, judging, criticizing, shaming. Oh dear. Shaming other people and shaming ourselves instead of being willing to respond. Rachel says, I think it is interesting that we find it so exhausting to look within ourselves and sit with ourselves when the reality is the blame and negativity. And when the reality is the blame and negativity is far more exhausting. Is there not a better way? Ha ha ha, memories. That's right, Rachel. That's what we did all those years ago as part of the company training. Yes, you remember. Very good. There you go. It got loaded in there. You can use that anytime you want. And, you know, sometimes it can feel... Now, can I tell you this? To sit with ourselves and to turn off the rest of it, you see, why that feels hard is because the ego is terrified that it's going to be sacrificed. Okay, so that ego, all of our conditioned beliefs and negative thoughts and all of that conditioning from when we were little, right? We've taken it all in, we've soaked it all in. That is a little bag of limiting beliefs. They're bad. Well, I guess they are if they don't let us live the life we desire most, but they're limiting beliefs. And when we sit and we go within and we go, no, I want to get in touch with who I truly am. I want to get in touch with my genius. I want to get in touch with my being. That ego, that little bag of limiting beliefs goes, no, don't do that. No, I'm going to make you fidget. I'm going to make you do this. I'm going to make you feel uncomfortable. Oh, look, your legs have gone to sleep. Look at that. Now you're going to have to get up. We need to be willing to be responsible, be curious. I'm going to go through the steps of meditation over the next month or so with you. We need to sit. We need to just sit through it. We need to sit and focus and go, no, I am going within to my being, and if that takes me the rest of my life, who cares? See, we're all in a rush to get there, aren't we? We're all in a rush to get there, but where is there? Where is there? So step by step, you know, they say you can't eat an elephant. You can only eat an elephant one bite at a time. And that's what life is about. One step at a time, one step at a time. And disregard the ego when it says to you, you're not good enough. You're not doing that fast enough. You should be able to meditate by now. You've been doing it for a few months. Why can't you do that? Disregard. It's a bit like the fish swimming past the bait on the hook. okay? The ego is baiting us all the time. All we have to do is swim past it, swim past it, swim past it. Tracy says, while we are being curious, it's harder to make room for judgment of ourselves and others. Yes, that's very true. Because again, we've shifted our perspective. And that's what it's all about. It's about a shift. And that's why I established Master Mindset, to help shift the limited human perspective, to help shift people's direction from that ego to being, to actually move from what appears to be normal to what's natural. And that's what I'm talking about each week here in Power Chat, is to hopefully connect energetically with you. So you don't have to agree with me, but I'm hoping that you'll go away and the energy will sit with you, because I can't ever tell you anything you don't know. All I am is a storyteller, a little tinkling bell. That's all I am, because all the wisdom and all the truth lies within you. All I would like to do is to help you move into an energetic space where you can feel it, sense it, touch it, taste it, hear it, and develop a deep connection with yourself, because you are the one person you can trust more than anybody else. And we must always remember that, and never, ever, ever give our trust to somebody else, because if they betray us, then what do? Trust ourselves firstly, listen within, then we will know how to respond with other people more effectively, and we'll be able to give up the blame and the shame and the judgment. Amber says, a bit off point, but what do you suggest in these times when the media is bombarding chaos on us daily, apart from just turning it off? That's the best thing. That is the best thing. Turn it off. And one of the other things we can do, or many of the other things we can do, is to actually make sure that we don't allow the tape to play in our head, because we hear it even though we turn it off, and it runs around in the back of our head. I mean, people are out of work, our business is shut down. We don't know if our business will ever survive, ever, because we're in the aviation industry. We're associated with the aviation industry. And because it's all about that energetic focus, because I've spent so many years energetically focused on what is the truth of my being, I find it easier not to hear the fear, not to have the fear come up. It just sort of, and even today I sat there and I thought, wow, I'm not at all concerned about the future. Why? Because I know the future is taking care of itself. Why? Because I'm choosing to be responsible, and I know that there is something greater going on than what appears to be in this realm. There is something greater going on. I know that. I know that. And that comes from all of this, I will say truth, all of this truth I share with you. But this is my truth. But there is an underlying universal truth here. But it's up to each of us, up to each of you, to actually be curious, willing, and committed enough to explore that with yourself. So yes, Amber, it's about, and as Tracy said, she chooses the resources when to tune in. So she stays in touch in a way that works for her. Correct. So the key is very important. And you know, it's hard here because sometimes you're talking to other people and they start and you don't want to hear it. And isn't it interesting that we've been actually conditioned to never say no to somebody if the conversation is uncomfortable? We just go, and we know it's not good for us, and we know it's not good for them. So sometimes you can say, you know what, I don't want to talk about that. I think there's enough fear going on in the world at the moment. Let's talk about something else. And you know, people will normally go, oh, okay, and off you go. So be a leader, be a light leader, be a way shower. Actually guide people yourself. Don't step back. Don't let your ego guilt you into having to listen to all of this. Just step forward with kindness, with love, with passion, and handhold people. This is what we're here for now, everybody. We're handholding. We're handholding into a new consciousness. This is a wonderful time. It can be scary, but you know what? That's just the ego saying, I got you. No, you don't. No, you don't. There's something bigger going on here. Tracy's saying, keeping the faith in the face of contrary information. Yes, some of you mightn't like this, but I still love Michael Jackson's song, Keep the Faith. What a great song. Let's not judge Michael, shall we? His music was brilliant. If you have it, find it, put it on. Great song. And it does help you, because what you're talking about is keep the faith. Keep the faith of who you are, what your future has in store for you. What a fabulous time this is on the planet. See, all it is a shift of perspective. That's all it is. Well said about the underlying universal truth and to let go of all the noise. Thanks, Robin. Yes, the noise. Yeah. Have you ever even had times during the day, during all of this, that if you tune in, you actually hear white noise in your head? Do you know what that's telling you? Stop. Stop. Okay, so if you are stuck at home, well, even if you're not, really doesn't matter. Spend some more time with yourself, with nature. Really important. Go out, hug a tree. Really important at the moment to care for yourself. Really important, because all this stuff can creep up on you when you least expect it. It can just creep up on you when you least expect it. So hug a tree, do what needs to be done. Yes, drive the conversations into light positivity. Absolutely, Amber, you're very good at that. Have a jolly good laugh. I actually say in my book that I wrote, Master Mindset, I talk about laughter, and I say, you know, instead of watching that trash on television, choose a comedy. Just choose a comedy and sit there and have a good laugh. So choose your resources, choose what you listen to, what you're watching, what you're talking about, what's running through your head all day. Choose, and you will find that it is far easier to be responsible in your life. So just in a nutshell, consciously practice responding rather than reacting every day. That's number one. Next one is stop in a situation, no matter what it is. Even if you're making a cup of coffee, stop and go, what's happening in my head? What am I thinking? And then go, oh, I want to choose to actually think and feel happy thoughts, happy feelings. Make the choice. You know that we have our own pharmacy, don't you? All of our own pharmacy is here. All we have to do is smile. We've got to crinkle the eyes. That's important. Smile, show our teeth, crinkle the eyes, and our brain will release all these happy drugs. So, you know, that old saying of fake it till you make it is nearly true. Because if you smile long enough and do all those three things, it has to have those three things, not just a grin, not going to work. Smile, do all this, bingo. All of those wonderful endorphins will release and you'll feel fabulous. That's why exercise is so good. That's why you put on the music that you love, okay? Sing, Rachel, with that great voice. Sing, dance, do all those things. Anyway, I'm getting off track. So number 2, stop, consider, and choose whether you're going to respond or react. And then the last thing I want you to keep considering all the time is that your resonance determines your reality. One more time. Your resonance determines your reality. So if you are resonating at a wonderfully joyous, happy, optimistic, passionate, involved, enriched energy, your reality will start to reflect that back to you. But same thing's true the other way. If you are resonating at a low, depressed, stressed, anxious energy, your reality will start to reflect that back to you too. Why? Because the law of attraction doesn't discriminate. We discriminate through our resonance, through our energy. So this week, I wish for you a conscious week where you pull yourself up and go, how am I resonating? How am I responding? And each moment, as you do that, that you elevate your energy that little bit more. You resonate at the frequency of the reality that you want to bring into you. And use this time while the rest of the world runs around like lemmings off a cliff or chickens with their heads cut off. You know the truth. You know that you are the master of your destiny. And even if you're not quite there yet, damn it, just believe it for a moment, and then a moment longer, and a moment longer, and a moment longer, until all those moments stretch into hours, days, weeks, months, years. And before you know it, you'll be living the reality that you actually dreamed of now and resonated to. It does happen. It just comes in when you least expect it. All we need to do is keep the faith, hold the energy. Okay? Amber's saying, Robin's saying, I like the free happy drugs, okay? And Amber's saying, such a good midweek pickup. Great. Amber's off to watch a comedy. Terrific. Okay, look, thank you very much for joining me. If you've enjoyed tonight, please like, share, tag your friends, let them know that this is each week, it's happening here. I'm going to be chatting away for Power Chat each week. I'd love more and more people to be able to get this energy, because what we're doing, even though we're all across here, you know, in digital land, we are exchanging energy, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference. So thank you, my love to you all. Have a fabulous week. Stay conscious, be decisive, be focused, be responsible, and live a life that matters. I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me. It's really appreciated. Bye, everybody. Bye.